how do you want to be remembered? And I thought his answer, of course, was just perfect. He goes, I want to be remembered as being a good teammate, respected by all the coaches and my peers. I want everybody to know I love the game of football.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Beer, Broncos, and
Hello
no BS.
again, Broncos country.
Welcome
Really
to
excited
Beer,
to chop up some
Broncos,
Broncos.
Orange Weekly. No politics, just football. Orange Weekly. No politics, just football.
Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll. I'm rocking orange, man. Word up. I'll be rocking with the Broncos. I'm rocking orange, man. Hey. Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll. I'm rocking orange, man. You see it? I'll be rocking with the Broncos. I've been rocking orange since an early age. Not since 9-7, I ain't miss a game. Came up with TD and Rod Smith. I was riding with the team when they got the chip. Before the Chevrolets and the Lobster. I remember Elway's helicopter. I'm telling you, that man was a monster. Way before he had his hands on a roster. He turned the Broncos to a powerhouse. So you know I got a shout out to Johnny Elway. He important, man. He the reason that I'm always rocking orange, man. Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll.
Broncos country, what's going on? Kevin here from Orange Weekly. Man, oh man, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Broncos get their first win of the season, and we are here to help break down that game, thoughts of what went on, and then to talk about this next week's game at home against the Titans. Hope you're all doing well tonight. This is Beer Broncos No BS, so grab that booze, beer, bourbon, whiskey, whatever you want. Sit back, relax, throw in some comments. We'll try to get to all of them if we can. But we already got a lot of people up in here. We're like, 48. Man, this is awesome. We got Ryan, Joey, Dylan, Red Cloud, how you guys all doing? Already some great comments. So before or without too much delay, let's bring in one of my favorite co-hosts, David. How's it going, man?
Oh man, I don't know. I may not have made any friends with my comments on the team chat earlier
Nope.
today. So favorite co-host, that's pretty nice. But I'm doing great, Kev. It's always good to talk Broncos football after a win, and I'm sure Broncos country feels the same way.
Exactly. Everyone who's in here right now, you guys are fantastic. Again, my name's Kev Dan. I'm joined here by David. We're gonna start breaking down the game. Before we do, please hit that share button for us. Let everybody know about who we are. If you watch our shows before, if you haven't, guys, we are all about that no BS. This is no politics, just football. We are here to talk to you guys. We are in no way experts on any of this stuff, but we love football. We love talking to you guys, and that's why we're doing this show. So, well, let's get down to it. Joey says, "What's up? How you doing?" Ryan, how you doing? Dylan says, "We finally got the dub. Hopefully, this gives them some confidence." And the wins keep rolling in. Very winnable games this weekend. The Lions and Colts showed the NFL how to get the Chiefs. Hope we can get over the Chiefs. And believe me, next week we'll be talking all about the Chiefs. But David, right now, we finally got that dub, got some confidence. What are your thoughts on this last week's game, and what does it mean?
Well, and I'll tell you, it was great to watch a win. But like Ryan, our good friend Ryan here said, we need work. There's plenty of work on there. 20-13, scoring 20 points most weeks in the NFL is not going to be enough to get you a W, especially if your defense, and give credit to the defense because they really kind of came together this last week. We didn't see it necessarily show up in the form of a bunch of sacks, especially on Von Miller's part, but he had an impact that you can't show on the stat sheet last week, and we all saw it. That first interception that Rivers threw, Von Miller was the cause of that, and he had a bunch more pressures in the game that led to a bunch more mistakes by the Chargers. We finally got off the schneid as far as turnovers go, forced a fumble technically, and a couple interceptions there as well. So we're finally rolling in that direction. It's kind of like the offense. The offense has kind of taken a little while to get rolling. Players have kind of been taking a while to get used to their roles in the new system. But now I think that you're starting to see the players get a little more comfortable. We're going to start to see a little bit more of these things, like more turnovers and sacks as the weeks go forward. It's, the defense, I think the arrow is very much pointing up. The offense is pointing up, but probably not up as high. I'm going to go ahead and think about how I phrase that for just a second, and then move on. It's honestly, they're doing well. They're improving, but there's still areas to work on. I said earlier in our Orange Weekly chat that I see this as a 6-10 team, and that's their ceiling right now. And it's just because I don't see them putting. I know, I understand.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
And I love it. You know what? I love it. But at the same time, it's just not all there yet. And we have a tough schedule. It is absolutely brutal. A lot of these teams that we thought when at the beginning of the season, this is going to be a hard one, maybe not quite the teams we thought they were, but still, we also weren't quite the team that we thought we were. So it's not going to be, I don't think we're going to have a ton of blowout losses on our ledger in any game. I think they're all going to be close, but the team's got to put it together for 4 quarters. That's what I want to see now. We saw the offense go silent again in the third quarter this week. They got it a little bit back on track a little bit earlier, and the defense was able to make some stops in that third and fourth quarter that the previous week they weren't able to make. And we'll get a little bit into what I think Mike Purcell's impact on this game was in a little bit. But, Alexander Johnson is another name, really, really helped us out at inside linebacker, has a lot of athleticism, can really hit hard. A guy who probably needed a little bit of extra time to get acclimated to this scheme. And now that he's there and, helping out, I think we're going to see a lot more good plays out of him. But we took a step back in the defense. Like Ryan says, prayers for the DB who went down. Devontae Bosby is his name. As obviously we all saw how awful that was when he went down during the game. He is, like he said, he couldn't feel anything in his arms or legs for about 30 minutes.
Move for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's absolutely, it's frightening, and it's a good reminder to all of us in Broncos country that, even if we don't win another game this season, these guys are willing to put it on the line every single week for our entertainment so that we can watch them and have a good time. There's really nothing more to it than that as far as these guys go, except do your job, collect a paycheck, do it for the fans. They're here for us. They're trying to win it for us. Let's keep that in mind as the season goes forward, no matter what, Kev. I think that's the takeaway to see, especially from a guy like that who comes back and says, yeah, I was paralyzed for 30 minutes, but I'm going to try and play. I'm going to come back and get back on the field.
That says a lot about what these guys are willing to do, just like you
Absolutely.
said. Teresa, how you doing? I'll get your comment here in a second. Cody says, yeah, that's my thoughts. New system, new everything. It takes a while and takes some time. Could have won a game against the Packers. We could have won several of those games that were close. And let's see, we got Red Cloud. How you doing? He's up in here. Ryan says, so who's getting traded and where are they going and what are we getting back? Ryan and David, get your take, but Ryan, my comment is nobody. The only people I could see getting traded are Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris Jr. before the trade deadline. If they don't move before the trade deadline, we are not trading them because they're free agents in the offseason. And at that point, you can't trade them.
You can't move them after the trade deadline anyway. So
Right. But even going to the next season.
Yeah, no, and I think you're totally right. Those are the two guys that I would have my eyes on if anybody was going to get moved at all. Maybe Derek Wolfe is one more that I think, but that's kind of the three at this point. I don't think you see anybody else, a big name like Von Miller. We talked about that a little bit last week and what kind of scenarios would have to come into play for him to be on the block. I think at this point we can say goodbye to all that, because I think what you've seen, at least between the coaching staff and the players, is they have come together a little bit. They have started to trust each other a little bit more. They have started to figure out who's good at what and who can do which things a little bit better as these last few weeks have gone along. And that's why I really think you want to see them not mess with this team chemistry as much as possible at this point, if they're going to be able to be competitive in most games. If they start to get blown out, starting this week against Tennessee, if they get blown out by Tennessee and then don't make any effort against the Chiefs, that's the only kind of scenario where I can kind of see maybe we start to talk about these names getting moved a little more seriously. But until then, I don't think you're really going to hear much more chatter coming from the Broncos as far as players getting traded away.
Yep. Ryan says, glad to have a W, but needs work. We'll talk about that here in a second. Anthony, awesome win. David, a win at last. It was like 300 some days, David.
Let's not even talk about.
Okay, that's okay. Just want to make sure that we all knew that. David says, sun keeps showing out, and we'll get to that. Abdi says, hey, Kev Dan, what's up, man? How you doing? Show some love to my friend David here, too. He was going to be my running mate in 2020, but we're too different. I'm optimistic. He's not. So.
I'm not there yet. I can't. I'll believe it when I see it. I said it on the pregame podcast, and I'll say it now. I'll believe it when I see it.
Abdi says, I knew Lindsey had to get touches. And once again, we see that when Lindsey has over 100 yards rushing, we win a game. Now, one thing I do want to talk about on offense really quickly, David. They were talking about this on the Fan earlier today. I can't remember what they said about the first quarter, but overall in the second quarter, we are -3 on points. That's fine. Fourth quarter, we're +3 on points. Cool, that's fine. Third quarter, we are -23 points.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
Why?
That's not a winning recipe for football.
It's not.
And this is why I'm saying, I can't just blame it all on halftime adjustments by the opposing defense. At a certain point, your offense has got to go out there and execute. That's the bottom line. And you can't just take quarters off. You're not going to be able to get away with it like you did in Los Angeles. The Chargers are a team that is notorious for just giving games away. And if I was a Chargers fan, I would be the angry, but we don't have to talk about that because we've seen the Broncos give a few games away this season. We know the pain. You can't do it on the road against division teams. If you don't score a point in the third quarter against Kansas City, we're not winning that game. I don't care what happens in the other three quarters. You're not good enough of a football team right now to go entire quarters without scoring points. It's not how you can execute, because this offense can't just mount up. I mean, they've shown flashes that they can just mount up a drive and go, but you can't count on that. You can't count on saying, well, we didn't get it this quarter, but we're going to be able to turn it on next quarter. We're going to be able to really get things going. And it's not going to work that way every time. And we've got some no kidding around games coming up. We talked about it a little earlier. We've got in the middle of November, 2 games back-to-back weeks in that early morning East Coast time slot against the Vikings and the Bills, and we're traveling for both of them. You know, you got to tighten some stuff up real quick if you want to start winning games like that. If you want to start defying people's expectations of you and go into those games and actually come out with a win, you gotta tighten up some fundamentals. I think they're getting better, and I don't think we're going to be minus 23 to end the season in the third quarter. I think, but you know, it's just going to take a little bit longer, Broncos country, unfortunately, for this team to really coalesce into, you know, a team where you could talk about a 9-7 season or a 10-6 season. You know, probably next year. I think if you bring back a bunch of the core guys, and I think you're going to, because we've got a lot of young players in the secondary and on offense. If you bring those guys back with this same coaching staff, I think you really are looking at a team. You could be talking about 9-7, 10-6, wild card berths, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe more than that, depending on how the draft goes. But it's just going to take a little bit longer if you're going to keep doing things like not scoring in the third quarter.
Right. Dylan says, Dave. And Ryan says, hi, David. And Joey says, didn't I say Tanner was my favorite? They're all my favorite, guys. They're all my favorite.
I'm loving the love, Broncos country. Keep it coming at me. I could do this all day.
Exactly. Hey, guys, there's a lot of good comments coming in. I wish I could go through every single one of them, but I don't want to get too far bogged down. Yes, prayers to Bosby, who went down, like we said, couldn't move for 30 minutes, absolutely paralyzed for 30 minutes. He will be back next year. I can guarantee that. He is excited to get back on the field. Let's see. Heck yeah, I think having Jackson back and starting Purcell and Johnson made a difference. So let's give a tip of our hat to Vic Fangio for making those changes. And I think a lot of us before the game started saw that Adam Gonzalez was a healthy scratch, and a lot of us said, what? Why? Right?
Yeah.
But it paid off. And I know a lot of us were asking, well, if Kareem Jackson is this good, why didn't we start him sooner? And Coach Fangio actually addressed that in the post-game press conference and said, basically, look, we didn't want to throw him in there until he was ready. We wanted to, he needed to earn his stripes on special teams. And that's important because if you think back to what Chris Harris Jr. was talking about earlier this year, he started on special teams. He was an undrafted free agent, college free agent. He started on special teams. And he was saying a lot of these new guys on the field this year with us have not been really putting in that effort, he thought anyway, that passion, right? They kind of assumed they had a starting role. And so now we see a guy who has that drive, has that heart, has that skill, but has earned his stripes. And look at where he is now. So,
well, and I think Kareem Jackson is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier. It's just guys are getting a little more acclimated to this scheme. Guys are knowing what their roles are and where they're supposed to be on any given play a little better. And that takes some of the thinking out of the game and allows you to play faster, which in a Fangio defense, it's a complicated defense. So the faster that you can play, the more confused the offensive players are going to be. Mike Purcell is another guy who, we didn't see him active. He was a game day inactive for a little while. He was kind of a surprise to stick on the roster, too. We thought, he was a guy who came in during preseason pretty late, not a guy who opened training camp with the Broncos, so I don't believe. He earned himself a roster spot. He had some prior experience with Coach Fangio, and we saw this week him go out in the run game and show why Vic Fangio has so much faith in him. A lot of times when we looked at where we were getting gashed on run defense in previous games, it was to Adam Gotsis' side, to the right side of our defensive line, left side of the offensive line. The coaches decided, let's pinpoint that area because it's clearly where we're having the most issues. And I think you saw, especially with Shelby Harris able to move back over to defensive end, where he's a lot more comfortable than playing the nose tackle position. And especially with a big body like Mike Purcell, who is kind of natural at that nose tackle position. A guy like Alexander Johnson can flow a lot better easily to those tackles to grab those running backs before they can get up ahead of steam when you've got guys like Purcell clogging lanes. And we saw him make an impact early. We saw him disrupt a couple of those running plays right away. And it was really kind of nice to see them getting after it a little bit in the run game as opposed to kind of sitting back on their heels and taking what the offense gave them.
Right. I mean, we held the Chargers offense to only 35 run yards.
Yeah.
Total.
That number is a little bit of an aberration just as much as the Jacksonville number was a little bit of an aberration.
Right, but still.
their talent level is somewhere in the middle of that. But it's, holding San Diego to 35 yards when they've got Austin Eckler, who is no schlub, has been doing very, very well. And then getting Melvin Gordon back this week and knowing that they were going to try to include him in their game plan. It's hats off to the Broncos coaching staff and players for being able to shut down that run, knowing that Los Angeles really wanted to establish that.
I mean, even if you hold a team to under 100 yards total, like that's big nowadays. We had 191 yards. We had 6.0 yards per carry. Chiefs only had 2.2. I mean, those are the kind of numbers. Yeah, okay, that 35, you're right. That was kind of an outlier. But even if we held them to 90, we still had 100 yards more rushing on them than they did. It kind of comes.
What the Scangarello offense wants to do. That's what we want to see this team do. Yep. We don't necessarily, last week it was fun to see Joe Flacco go out and throw for 300 yards, but at the end of the day, we didn't come home with a W. So, I would rather see him go out there and throw for 180 yards, be efficient, protect the football, which that's another area they've got to clean up on offense is those turnovers. It kind of wasn't a big problem for the first couple of weeks. Now it's becoming a little bit more of a concern. So You got to tighten that up if you want to continue to play winning football. But the running game is what they want this offense to run behind. They really, really want to be able to get Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay going. And both of those guys had really, really effective weeks. I know Lindsay had something like 140 yards of total offense. And I believe Freeman had around 60 yards, at least 60 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want those guys to be able to change pace, change speeds in the running game a little bit, give them a little bit of physicality, and then give them a little bit of speed and keep them guessing. And that will open up a lot more in the offense. We already saw them come out in that first drive and run effectively and use that play action down the middle to Jeff Hireman very effectively because they had the Chargers had to respect our run game. That's what this team is going to have to do in the future. And especially if we're going to win games like the Chiefs game, or, that's going to be really important, is to be able to play our game, keep the ball out of those offensive playmakers' hands. And, at a certain point, that's going to win you some football games. Like I said, I've been saying, I think it's going to come a little later in the season, but we're seeing what it can be now. We're seeing what the potential is for it now. If they keep it up, who knows? Your optimism may win the day, Kevin. I don't know.
It's been it's been 2 years now. It's got to pay off eventually. Mm-hmm. But here, we finally won the turnover game. Finally, okay? Our 2 turnovers to their 3 turnovers. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, out of the next 11 games, we win 90% of the rest of the games where we win the turnover battle.
Yeah.
Everything else, that's what these games are going to come down to, man.
Especially if the defense can continue to improve and play well.
Yeah.
If so, then we are going to win most of those games that we win in the turnover battle. But you got to win that battle. You've got to have guys holding on to the football. You've got to have the offensive line giving Joe Flacco time. And when Joe Flacco has time, he's got to throw it to the guys with the right jersey on.
Let's see. Cody says, she said a while back, and again, guys, keep posting your comments, questions. We're going to try to get to them. There's really good conversations going on. I want to get to as many comments as possible, but in the meantime, hit that share button for me. My name's Kev Dan. I'm joined here by David. You're watching Beer Broncos No BS. If you haven't grabbed that beer yet, guys, go grab it. We got another 40, 50 minutes left. So kick back, relax with us, guys. We're here for a while. But Cody does say the bum Garrett Bowles cost us that game with his holding penalties. He had like 5. Oh, he's talking about the Bears or the Green Bay game. But let's talk about improvements, man. Okay, we had 12 penalties this last game. That is outrageous. 0 of them were from Garrett Bowles. And Garrett Bowles has been ranked the 4th best offensive tackle when it comes to passing offense. Is this change for real, David, or is this just kind of eventually we're going to see the regular Garrett Bowles?
I mean, at this point, I'm seeing it. Like you heard me say it a couple times tonight. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm seeing it right now. Now, Garrett Bowles had a couple of breakdowns. The Chargers are no schlub on the defensive line. You can put at least a little bit of that strip sack of Joe Flacco where he lost the ball on Garrett Bowles because he kind of lost his contain on his guy. But it's another week with no holding penalties or any penalties of any kind on him. And you know what? At this point, with a guy like Munchak in there, I can at least expect to see improvement on the improvement I've seen. I'm willing to believe that it's for real because the coaching is there, and it sounds like at least you've got a willingness on Garrett Bowles' part to keep it up, keep going, keep improving. Don't just say the referees are out to get me. Don't make excuses for yourself. Go out there, play the technique that you know you should play, and block your guy. It's as simple as that, and it's as complicated as that at the same time. And talking about improvements a little further, it seems like it's a guy we're talking about every single week, but we've had a couple of comments about him already, and I do want to address him. Courtland Sutton. My goodness. We are seeing something really special here, Broncos country. We all know what it's like to watch a second-round receiver who, has great hype about him, who can do all the things, quote unquote, and just watch him not pan out. And we saw it with Cody Latimer, and we all thought that was going to be a really, really great pick at the time, and the guy just never put it together in this league. And there's a reason that the Giants don't start him. He's playing on an NFL team, but he's not starting. Courtland Sutton is a number one wide receiver, and I think we've evolved with him very quickly from turning into is one. And every single week he impresses me with something else that he can do. His route running, his awareness of the sticks, his amazing stiff arm this week to get himself a 70-yard touchdown catch and run. His blocking, his willingness to stick his nose in there and block on run plays down the field. It's something that in a running offense like this one, you have to have receivers that are willing to do that. And if they're not, you're not going to have as much success. But credit to him. He is willing to stick his nose in there and put a hat on a DB. And when he does that, guys like Philip Lindsay can get another 5 or 6 yards out of those runs. It's really, really special to have a guy actually develop into what you wanted him to be when you drafted him, especially a guy outside the first round. The first round, it should be a fairly safe pick. That guy, obviously first round picks miss every year. But to have a second round, a guy outside of that round really turn into something special for your team, that's, we're going to be enjoying that for the rest of the season. Hopefully alongside Garrett Bowles' improvements, but we'll just have to see how that goes.
I completely agree. And one thing I want to ask you, David, and guys, keep posting comments, questions really quickly with Bryce Callahan. He's going to be out for a while more. We're still waiting to hear exactly. He's supposed to have some surgery. I haven't heard anything official yet, but we're probably not going to see him for at least a couple more months. But along with
like another 4 to 6 weeks on top of So,
but along with this Courtland Sutton conversation, you're completely right. This guy he's definitely number one wide receiver, caliber type of player, especially in the next coming years. I mean, he's going to be the fact he's going to be with the Broncos for the at least the foreseeable future is fantastic. What concerns me is the next best or the next wide receiver with the most receptions is Deshaun Hamilton, but behind. I think it was Philip Lindsay and somebody else.
Yeah.
I think part of, if you look at the success we've had on the wide receiver fronts, because we've had that dual threat. Right now, everyone's covering Emmanuel Sanders. That means it's leaving the door open for Courtland Sutton. If they want to double team Courtland Sutton, well, then they're going to leave Emmanuel Sanders open. What I'm concerned about is if we do lose Emmanuel Sanders this season due to free agency, or we do decide to trade him, well, now all of a sudden, I don't think we have a number one or number two wide receiver threat to keep defenses from going, hey, we got to figure out which one we're going to block. But so
and Hamilton is especially a guy who I think maybe just hasn't gotten that chemistry with Joe Flacco yet.
Sure.
I don't think they're on the same page as much, certainly as Sutton and Flacco are. So maybe that's a reason, and we'll see kind of that maybe develop as the season goes along. You hope so. Because even if Sanders is back next year, he's going to be 33 years old. And you don't necessarily want a guy who's that old to be that integral a part of your offense.
Right.
You don't. So, they may address that in free agency. It's probably something that they'll need to go back to the draft well again. They've seen some things they like out of Juwan Winfrey and some other guys on the roster. But until those guys actually show up and show out, it's going to be a little bit of a position of concern, especially with Sanders either not playing here next year or getting older. And Ryan says Hamilton has a good story. I've got hopes for him. He does. No, absolutely. I would love to see him come together a little bit. Flacco has shunned Hamilton for that TD drop, says David, and that's a good possibility. I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure guys don't hold on to grudges for that long and keep you in the dog. Outside of Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning could get the ball to freaking anybody at any time, so he didn't need you. Joe Flacco may not have enough targets to be that, but I'm sure that has not helped them develop chemistry. That TD drop, I'll bet that sticks in Flacco's mind when he maybe makes him think for an extra half a second before throwing the ball to Hamilton. Let's see.
We do have
blocking has been a lot better, says Joey. That's true too. And Sanders had a nice block for Lindsey on a play downfield. That's really true too. Both of those guys have been willing blockers, if not always the best at it. And it is good to see them both also willing to do what it takes in the run game as wide receivers, and tight ends. You're very much thinking, get me the ball. Let's pad my stats a little bit for my next paycheck. I'm going to need, but doing your job in the run game is not sexy, but it's what you got to do to win football games. And I think a guy like Emmanuel Sanders knows that better than anybody at this point.
Easily. Got some question about Drew Lock here. Really quickly, Dylan says, I didn't see the pick that threw. What happened? Was it a poor throw, forcing a ball, or what? I don't think the interception thrown by, there's the one where it was a batted pass and it was just tipped up. That's not on Flacco. That's on the offensive lineman. I think it was Wilkinson. Don't quote me on that. That let the guy he was blocking get up into the air. So, I mean, in a sense, Joe Flacco had 0 interceptions this week. But we're talking about, the what ifs on the season, and things go badly for us. Now we're talking about possibly putting in Drew Lock. There's comments here about, well, we don't really know how they're going to be ready. Look at Brady and Bledsoe, is what Red Cloud says. It's hard to say who'll be ready. I like Flacco in the system, but Lock has great potential. So what would you expect from Drew Lock if we get to the end of the season and we're eliminated from the playoffs? And just, even past that, do you continue to keep Joe Flacco moving on to next year?
Well, that's it. I mean, that's, I think, why you start Drew Lock for at least 4 games to end the season, to see if you need to roll with Joe Flacco to start the next season, or if you need to start over at your quarterback position yet again. And we've already talked about the implications of that for John Elway and what I think. We hit that up last week. But you have to see something out of him, I think, this year. And I would definitely recommend. I would definitely support starting him for the last 4 games of the season. That's when I think this team will be playing its best football. And I think that if you put him in with those starters, he's not going to look ready. I don't think he's going to look ready to blow the doors off the league. He's not going to look like Pat Mahomes. But I think if you see improvement from him every week, kind of like you've seen from this team all season long, then that means he's a guy I think that can be coached up. And in this system with these coaches, I trust them to make him into a starting NFL quarterback. If you don't see kind of an incremental improvement from week to week with him as he's starting, and that's why I think you need at least 4 games to really kind of get any evaluation. But if you don't see a kind of a week to week incremental improvement, I think maybe you've got to start asking yourself really seriously, can this guy be coached up to do the things that we want him to do in this offense? Or is it time to draft another young guy back there?
Right.
So I definitely support giving him some time to start this season.
Sure.
We've just got to see what we've got going forward.
100% right. And not to compare him to Pat Mahomes, because that kid is going to be, I hate the idea of having to play him 2 years or 2 times a year for the next.
I would not hate anybody for thinking that this was the Pat Mahomes show sometimes, because it feels like we say the same thing about him every single goddamn week. But it's true every single week.
It's true every single week.
Sorry, but
especially next week. Oh, I can't wait till next week.
Yeah, no,
but
it's going to be awful.
Even he sat on the bench for a while. And here's the thing is, with Drew Lock's injury, I'm sure he's been watching tape. I'm sure he's been being around the team literally as much as possible. But he hasn't been getting any reps. But here is why I love preseason. Okay, guys? If you don't watch preseason, it's not just about the scores. You got to watch it with the mindset of who's improving, who's standing out, who can be that depth, and those guys we can rely on, to replace people with injuries, throughout the season. Drew Lock showed improvement from the first preseason game up until his injury. He continued to show improvement, and he essentially won the backup job. I think the Broncos were kind of thinking, we might want to have Hogan as the backup while we continue to groom Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
But up to the point where he had that injury, he was going to be the backup. And so when I see that, I know it's preseason and it's like second and third stringers the majority of the time. But when you see somebody improve through that level, I have a very strong feeling you're going to see the same improvement in the regular season. I can't say the same thing about Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, whoever else, we had Brock Osweiler. I never really could say that about any of them.
Yeah.
But with Drew Lock, we have. And so that's why I think, I agree with you, David. If we're in that point where we just don't have the chance for the playoffs, well, let's decide now if this is another bust or if this is a guy, hey, give it another year, maybe start Joe Flacco next year to give it some more time. But, man, this can be the guy that if we keep giving him reps, he's going to get there sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope we do see that because, man, it'd be nice to have that figured out for a good long while. It'd be nice to not have to go back to the well every couple of years for another quarterback. Excuse me. Let's see. Joey says Locke fits the system better than Flacco, which is pretty true just because of how mobile he is.
Right.
How much better he is at rolling out and throwing on the run. That's one thing I think, especially rolling out to his right, has been a real weakness of Flacco's this year. Those throws have just not come together.
You got to give the guy credit, though. He did scramble, I think, twice this last week, once for a first down.
That
true. Guy, he's old. He can't run. He made it happen. He was
never a mobile guy to begin with, even when he wasn't He wasn't a runner.
You got to give him credit, though. You're not wrong. And one thing to keep in mind is this is one of Joe Flacco's best starts to a season in his career. I think he was ranked number 8 in terms of quarterback rating, QBR or something in the NFL. He's doing really well.
This is as far as, when I've been saying we've seen peak Joe Flacco already this year, I don't mean it as an insult. We have seen the best Joe Flacco that Joe Flacco can be, and that's a decent NFL quarterback most of the time.
And that's fine. That's what we need right now.
Right, absolutely. Especially if the run game continues to go as well as it has gone. I think that's all you're gonna need from your quarterback. Coming up, we've got Tennessee this week. I haven't checked their ranks as far as defense goes, but I'm going to look that up right now while I vamp a little bit. Marcus Mariota is not a quarterback that I fear in any way. And so that, I think, is going to be a matchup that favors our defense, especially with how badly their offensive line has been playing this season. Let's see, Tennessee Titans.
While you look that up, Ryan says, I love preschool season. I love that saying. I haven't heard that yet, but I like it. Let's see, you're also getting some comments on your hat there, David. It's pretty popular. So
it's a great hat.
It is.
Absolutely fantastic hat.
Which
I got it it was in Vesco Field at Mile High at the time, so I don't know if it's currently available, but I will say the puffball on top, I cannot recommend highly enough.
It's the South Park, you know what I mean? It's Stan's hat. Absolutely. So, but that kind of does feed me into a mid-show kind of push for a couple things. First off, guys, our Patreon. We are giving away free Broncos gear to those who donate to our Patreon. We're giving away a prize every month for those who donate. You go to patreon.com/Orange Weekly, or just go to patreon.com and search for Orange Weekly. We're there. If you donate even $1 a month, you're going to be entered not only to that month's prize, but the end of the year prize as well. If the Broncos win during that month that you donate for, you're going to get 5 additional entries for the end of the season prize. This month, we might be giving away some Snowball Broncos hats like that. It seems to be pretty popular. So maybe even like an autograph, like David, your autograph or something to go with it, since, But seriously, guys.
I am sure that's, I'm sure when the people heard you say autographs, they were hoping player autographs. But I'll tell you what, I think any
Orange Weekly autographs.
Yeah, absolutely. No, any of our viewers would be lucky to get my autograph. They would be over the moon, I'm sure.
Yeah, guys, like I said, even if you donate just $1 a month, that's not going into our pockets. That's helping us buy better equipment, better lighting, better cameras, microphones, whatever, to bring you guys better content. So please go donate there. We just gave away a Denver Broncos jacket this next month, probably something along with a hat and some other kind of things. And if there's something you want us to try to give away, let us know. And then just kind of keep you guys involved that way as well. Also, make sure you listen to our post-game podcast. It's up on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Wherever you listen to podcasts, That one is uploaded, and don't forget about a pregame podcast as well, usually uploaded Friday or Saturday, and then we'll cover the Sunday stuff later on. But you guys are fantastic. We're going to stay here for a while longer. Hit that share button again for me. My name's Kev Dan. I'm here with David for the Beer Broncos No BS show. If you finished your first beer, time to grab another. Go ahead and grab it. Just take a break. I'll pause for just a second so you can go get your beer. Okay, that was long enough for pause, but hurry back. You guys are fantastic. Glad to be here. All these people watching, you guys are fantastic. Let's get back to some of the good stuff here. Let's see, Dylan says last year he started hot too till he got hurt and they put in Jackson. So yeah, we're seeing some of this consistent Joe Flacco stuff. Joey says, the thing that would excite me about Locke is his ability to play beyond the X's and O's. He can create and extend plays, and that's usually where the big plays come in, kind of like a young Big Ben. Also, I mean, like any quarterback, and especially what you're seeing from Pat Mahomes. You can see what Pat Mahomes does when his ankle's hurt and he can't scramble and he can't make those plays. So you see the difference between a player who can do that and just Pat Mahomes himself when he's healthy and when he's not. So having a quarterback that can do that, like we're expecting in Drew Lock, would be huge.
And I think we already know that he can do those things. It's being able to play inside the system as well. Being able to play in those X's and O's, because that's going to open up things so much more when you want to improvise. If guys are expecting that you are going to be able to play flawless technique, then when you have to play with a little flawed technique and make up a little something on the go, guys are going to be out of position for you to make up something on the go because they're going to be in the position for you to make the play that you're supposed to make. Once you know how to do it in, the way that your coaches tell you to do it, you're going to be able to improvise, I think, so much more easily in this league. Because just improvising, guys are too fast. Guys are too big. Guys aren't, it's not college where you can just get away with heaving it up there and saying, so, you gotta learn how to do the little things in an offense, play within those X's and O's, so that when you get out of the X's and O's, you've got a lot more in front of you, I think.
Yeah. Okay, guys, keep those comments and questions coming. Red Cloud says cheers. So here's a cheers to you, Mr. Red Cloud, one of our constant viewers. We got a ton of them here today. Tarek says Von Miller view to my profile. Derek Wolf follows our Twitter. Just saying.
Oh man.
We're not I guess really big, but I guess if Derek Wolf's following us.
There are plenty of Broncos podcasts out there who don't have any players following.
Nice.
We got one.
We're getting a lot of comments on stuff that people have, which is fantastic. I appreciate that, guys. I wish I had a signed jersey. I gave one away as a Christmas present last year, though, so which I really wanted to keep. But, guys, keep posting those comments, questions. Let's transition, David. We've talked about this whole last week. We've talked to the season up to this point. Yep. Let's start looking towards the Titans. And, guys who are watching, one question I want to ask you is, what area of the Broncos do you want to see most improved for this next game? Or what part of the team worries you the most? So, David, I'll send those questions to you first while we have people type those in. What are you worried about, and what do you really want to see improved over this next week?
Well, what I'm worried about is turnovers. The Titans, are +6 in the turnover rate and turnover margin. I don't think that we are good enough to rest on our laurels there. It's something that I think really need to improve as far as coming up this week of practice. Let's get better quickly. You know what? No interceptions and no fumbles from Joe Flacco. That's what I'm going to be looking for this week. Let's have a clean game there. If we do, and if we can keep the running offense going like we have, Tennessee is 14th in rushing defense. They're allowing 101.4 yards per game. And I don't think that is something we can – I think that's something we can overcome. I don't think that's an insurmountable defense for us for sure. I think with the quality of backs that we have and the way the offensive line has really come into run blocking, we can definitely take it to the Tennessee Titans if we want to, but we just got to execute. We've got to keep with it. We saw them get away from the run game and panic a little bit in the second half against the Jaguars. They stuck with it this last week, and even though we didn't score any points in that third quarter, we saw it pay dividends in the fourth quarter on that last drive where we needed to eat up some clock and get into field goal range, and we thought, maybe we've been knocked out of field goal range. We had that 3rd and 14, And Philip Lindsay was able to get 13 of those yards back and put us right back in the middle of field goal range where we were able to ice it. So, those are going to be crucial plays. If we can keep those kind of plays happening, keep the turnovers limited, that's what I'll be really looking for. That's going to be my key to the game against the Titans.
Awesome.
What are you kind of concerned about?
So, a couple things. First, I want to talk about Casey's comment here. Oh, hail Beer Broncos and no BS, which I think is the best comment of the show that I've not only seen this show, but probably in recent ones. You're awesome, Casey. I really appreciate it. Derek says Ryan says, how's Derek Wolfe doing this year? I think he's doing okay. Obviously that injuries kind of bugged him earlier, but so you're talking about some of the things that worry me. I'm worried that teams might, after, the Titans going back and looking at our game film, might find a way to beat the moves that we put into the defensive line.
Yeah.
If our defensive line proves that wasn't a 1 week fluke because we made that change at the last minute, awesome. Yeah. But I'm worried about the Titans looking at that going, oh, well, they just caught the Chargers off guard. We have studied this. We have a way to beat that. And that's, I think, going to be a really big test this week to show, hey, are these guys for real? Is this defensive line the one that we're going to keep? Or was that a kind of a fluke thing? So I'm worried about that.
Really good point, especially because Leonard Fournette is a very physical runner.
Sure.
And we saw him just kind of smash it down our throats. The Chargers, neither Melvin Gordon or Austin Eckler is really that type of guy. But Derrick Henry sure as heck is.
Yep.
He is an absolute monster. And if he gets loose and gets a full head of steam, Kareem Jackson is not going to be able to bring that guy down if he's running at him full steam. It's just not going to happen. So, if we can, like you said, if we can show that last week's defensive line was the defensive line we're going to roll with for the rest of the season because of how effective they were, then great. But like you said, otherwise it could be a very, very long day. It might be better if we kept a few guys in the box, if you kind of trust those receivers, if you make Marcus Mariota beat you with his arm, because I don't know if he can do it, especially on the road, especially with how their offensive line has been playing. And since our defensive line has been kind of, getting a little better every week, Malik Reed showed that he belongs last week. He showed that he is not a schlub. Against Los Angeles. That's the first time I've done that. I'm pretty proud of myself. Los Angeles' offensive line has been bad for about 2 decades now, it seems like. So, but the undrafted rookie from Nevada came and showed that he belonged in this league. If he can do it again this week with Von Miller, if they shut down that run, those guys are going to get opportunities to bring Mariota down. I think I saw, I don't know if this is an official stat or not, but a stat that says Mariota creates more of his own sacks than any quarterback in the league. So let's just give him an opportunity to help us. Help him to help us. That's all. We'll just have to see after that. If we can shut down the run and keep our run game going, it's going to be a good formula. Let's see.
Let's see. I like Ryan's comment here. Mm-hmm. His worries in order: 1, defensive backs; 2, defensive line; 3 for the Pat and his rings. 4. Offensive line, 5 wide receivers. That's why what we need to be look at fixing. I think out of that, I think the defensive line is definitely number 1 on my list. The DBs, I think, like you said, keep somebody else in the box. Might see more of, instead of a nickel or dime type package, probably a 3-4 is what I'm expecting. Have that third linebacker up there to keep that from that. Because you're right. I think if they're trying to rely on Marcus Mariota to make plays happen, that's, I think, what's going to give us the best chance to win. So definitely stacking the box a little bit more to just, hey, get up in the middle and don't let Derrick Henry get any, place to run. But we do have some of the speed, and Purcell is a beast. He's a big guy. He's not fast, but he is quick off the ball. And, he can fill those holes that are opened up by the defensive or the offensive line of the Titans and kind of negate that run game. And I think that's what I'm 99% sure we're going to keep that same defensive line lineup going into this next game. But that's what we need to watch. Dylan says QB spy, probably some of that. QB spy / also, hey, back up in case, Derrick Henry gets through the line kind of situation. But yeah, those are my concerns, and we've got to come out and execute. We can't have 12 penalties. 2 of them were for Yadam. And that's one thing I want to ask you, David. Yadam, where is he going to fall in this? Because we saw when he had to get thrown out there, he apparently, in his second year of playing football in the NFL, he thinks it's okay to just hold on to a player's jersey 10, 15 yards down the field.
Yeah.
And that's why he was replaced by
Devontae Harris, I believe, was the guy who came in for him.
And he played really well. So where do you see Yadam? And you know what? I'm on the urge of giving Garrett Bowles his name back because he's still Garrett Holds, but I'm in the process of switching that to Isaac Hold'em. Okay? Because that was atrocious. So where do you see Yadam Hold'em kind of falling into the mix of the defense?
Well, and I'll tell you, probably not going to be the starter this week.
Better not be.
When Devontae Bosby came in and it kind of established himself in that Packers game, Yadam was out very quickly after that and not back in. We didn't see him on defense, mostly on special teams after that, until Bosby got hurt. And then kind of Yadam had to come back in, had those holding penalties, and then we saw the team go to Devontae Harris a little bit more, especially in the second half. I think you're going to see a good mix of Harris. He and probably the new signee this week, Cody Sensabaugh, that they just picked up when they put Bosby on IR today. Yeah. I feel like they want to see Yadam improve. They want to give him enough chances to improve out there, but they want to win games at a certain point. They gave him a couple of chances in the first couple of games to go out there, be the starter, and show what he could do. And he showed them. And so at this point, I think they're not really ready to say, okay, kid, sink or swim again. We already saw you sink. Multiple times. At a certain point, attrition may just force him to play some snaps.
Right.
And familiarity with the defense. Cody Sensabaugh is not a guy who you can expect to come in week one and be ready to make a meaningful contribution, to know the defense, to know where he's supposed to be, to know his responsibilities. So that, the end all be all of it is we're going to see we may see some Yadam along with a lot of Devontae Harris this week. It's just going to have to be the game plan until, maybe Bryce Callahan in another 4 weeks or 5 weeks. But that's at this point, that's as much as we can hope for as far as a replacement goes at this point.
Sure. It's Red Cloud says, is Yadam the Achilles heel of the secondary? I would say yes. Overall, for the Broncos, one of the big issues is the depth of the team. As in, we don't have depth. We have some key players that are stepping up, and we saw that this last week especially. But in general, we don't have depth. So if we have to rely on Isaac Hold'em, I'm just gonna start calling him that. Isaac Hold'em to go out there and be kind of that starter or really involved with the defense. Sorry, he is not. He has had a chance. He has multiple chances in the last year and a half to make a name for himself, to show that improvement. And I don't care who you are. You don't see Chris Harris Jr. holding on to a player's jersey for 10, 15 yards. You never saw any of the other guys. When's the last time you saw a holding penalty that egregious? And it was two of them. It was two of them that were just straight out, not even close to being questionable. It was straight up holding. And, okay, maybe as a rookie in your first couple of games, but in your second year, if you're going to do that, I don't want you anywhere near the defense. So if he has to go out there, in multiple snaps because we need him to, then Red Cloud, I would say that Yadam is the Achilles heel of the secondary. Keith also says Hold'em is terrible. So guys, Hold'em now. Yadam's gone. He's now Hold'em. But yeah, so that's something I'm curious about, to see what we do with him, and I don't know. Let's see, 2 in a row. That was bad. Let's see what else offense wise, other than just the third quarter kind of struggles. What kind of stuff are you interested to see on the offensive side of the ball?
I want to see the offensive line improve.
Okay,
and
just in penalties or an overall? Because who said it here? Joey said, I wouldn't say Harris played well, but he got beat a lot. But sorry, that was defensive side. We just talked. Yeah. So offensive side, offensive line, minus the penalties. What else are you kind of looking for?
I would like to see Jawan James come back. It'd be really nice to see Jawan James, because I'll tell you, it's not, Elijah Wilkinson has played about what you expect for a backup to play. he's not a guy who you would expect to come in and play at a starter level, or he'd be starting somewhere. But I would really, really like to see a starting caliber right tackle back, especially because we paid a ton of money for it.
Right.
That's something else again. It's not my money, so I shouldn't really be upset about that. I just want to see him out on the field because I think he can help this football team.
He adds that layer for the depth issues we're having. He adds a top layer to everything. Yeah. So it gives us more options.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so that's really the one thing, because the skill position players have looked really good. We've got, we've been over the Joe Flacco thing at length. But if we could just keep a little bit of improvement coming from this offensive line, that's going to help this offense more than anything else. And they're coming together, but you can turn this in from a 20-point per game team to a 25, 26, 27 point per game team. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's going to be the difference between quite a few wins and losses for us this year.
There's no reason why going into the halfway through or the end of the third quarter, we did not have 27 points. We were up 17-0. The defense had done a phenomenal job, especially holding the Chiefs at the Chargers at the 1 yard line at the end of the second quarter there. I mean, you want to talk about good defense. That play to basically on that 4th and goal. I mean, you're kidding me. That is some defense we have not seen since 2015.
Yeah.
The defense did their part. So for the offense to go out there and for the whole third quarter, there was that 4th and 2. I think it was on the 42 yard line. By the way, I appreciate how aggressive we are on offense. Yeah. 4th and 2, we have a lead. We're going for it. Okay. That's what's going to tie into more conversational topics I have for next week against the Chiefs. But that kind of mentality is going to help out now. Unfortunately, the rookie got called offsides, false start.
Oh, Fant. No, Fant?
No, the other one.
Dalton Reisner?
Yes, Reisner. Thank you.
He was blocking downfield. That was what it was.
There was some thought, hey, are we just going to try to, get them off, try to get the Chargers offsides, but based off his jump, no, we were going for that. And I appreciate, there's no way that we weren't going for that, because it's easy to say, hey, just don't move. Just don't move. But if you're planning on making a play happen, then that's what you're going to see. So I appreciate how aggressive we are. But, I think from seeing these comments here, it's the biggest concern is that third quarter offense.
Yeah.
The stats show it in themselves, and that we're negative 23 in the third quarter.
Play 4 quarters. Gotta play 4.
At that point, look, dude, if you can't, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, maybe even for the Titans, if you can't score more than, 27 points, the chances of winning are eh. If you can't score 35 points, you're not beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't care how broken they are. This last game was an outlier.
Yes, it was.
But while it shows the game plan on how to beat the Chiefs and how to beat a lot of these teams, with ball control, being efficient, running the ball, dominating the line, that third quarter offense for us is the thing that I have to see improve. And we have seen a lot of improvement over the last 5 games, but that has got to get fixed.
Yeah, no excuses for it. It's 2 games in a row now that they haven't shown up, and you can bet the coaching staff knows it. Vic Fangio talked about it immediately after the game. They couldn't buy a first down in the third quarter. They know they got to get it fixed, and it's going to be something that I'm sure that gets a lot of attention this week during practice. I think we will see it improve this upcoming week. It may not improve to as we may only score 3 or 7 points as opposed to 10 or 14 points in the third quarter.
It's something.
But, yeah, I'll take it. And because I think they're going to build on that for the next week, get them a little more coached up and improve it as the season goes along. That's what you got to play all 4 quarters. You like we said earlier, you can't play 3 or fewer quarters and expect to win a lot of games.
What I do like, if you think back to week 1 after we lost to the Raiders, right? Gross.
Yeah.
After that game, we sat down and we knew that we had 100 things to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at here, and we maybe only have 15, 20 things to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And what that's allowing us to do is spend more and more time on these real problem areas. And, if we were still sitting here saying we still have 100 things to fix that have not improved at all, we'd be in trouble. we'd be 0-5 for the first time in Broncos history. But
Yeah.
we're seeing that the games are getting closer. We're giving ourselves better chances more often than not. And now we're really being able to, the team can spend a lot of quality time on these, individual issues that we're seeing here. And that's why I really believe you're going to keep seeing this improvement throughout the season. Now we have to execute. That's the problem. We have to bring our A game on every single game. If we bring an A- game, we're going to lose. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, it's not good enough. Everybody in the NFL is trying to win every week. So you can look at the schedule and say, oh, this is a soft team. This is an easy team. This is one we should win. But those guys want to come out and win just as much as you do. We've been saying, I'm sure teams the last few weeks have been saying the Broncos are a soft team. Oh, that's an easy win. Oh, we'll count that on the schedule.
But
I'm
now
sure we're saying it up until this last week. Maybe not the players, but their fans. And you know what? Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Teams are playing for their jobs just as much as your team is.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you've got to go out there and give your A+ effort every single week. A- is just not going to win you many football games.
Yeah. Hey guys, stick around for just a few more minutes. We're going to bring up the schedule and talk about a couple things. We want to hear your thoughts. Now let's kind of hear some thoughts about the next couple weeks in general. So start posting your comments on that. But before I do, remind you guys that we do have that Sunday morning show. We're calling it Broncos Brunch, I think is the name that, I'm not going to lie. My wife came up with it. It actually fits all the other alliteration that we're doing. Broncos Brunch, Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about Ray's Ragers. If you're interested in sports betting at all, he gives you a great breakdown of what Vegas is saying for multiple lines of the day, what bets he's taking, and what he was 20-4 before this last week's game.
Let's not even talk about, if you're into sports betting and you're not watching Ragers, then you're not that into sports betting.
He's making money.
You must hate making money. That's all I can say.
Right.
You must hate it.
No, so
I'm sure do. But around here, when we're betting on the Broncos, we like to make money. So if
make smart bets.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're into that, definitely check out Ragers.
It's only like a 5-10 minute show, and like I said, he's making money this year. So if you want to make money, and let's say you don't want to bet, you just want to hear about what Vegas is saying and kind of some of the finer details of what to look for in the game, that's a great show for you guys to watch. Usually comes out Saturday evening, if not Sunday morning. Don't forget about our Orange Weekly After Dark, usually at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday nights. Jason and usually myself hop on and talk about some overreaction Monday kind of stuff, if you want to talk about that. But like I said, guys, we have content for you guys pretty much every day of the week. And that's what we're here for, guys. We love doing this for you. We love all of your shares, your comments, your posts. Again, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/orangeweekly. Donate if you feel like it. It's going to enter you the chance to win some prizes both every month and at the end of the season. And we just appreciate any support you guys can throw us that way, because we're immediately taking that money and throwing it right back into the shows here at Orange Week. So you guys are fantastic for that. Okay, David, looking forward a little bit past this week as we do at the end of the show. Forgive me, guys. I still have not updated this, but here's the schedule looking forward. 4 losses, 1 win here against the Chargers. I will make sure that says big, bold, green, or orange and blue win across that for next week's show. We got 2 home games. The Titans, I think, are the by far the easiest of the next 3 games. Thankfully, we have these 2 home games, but they were on the road against the Colts. So followed by the Browns, who I feel a lot better about playing the Browns. Following what they've looked like this season.
I sure do.
Yeah. But so let's what are your big thoughts moving up until the bye week? So we got the Titans at home, Chiefs at home, Colts on the road, Browns at home, and then we got our bye. What are your big gut thoughts, if you will?
It's tough to see more than 2 wins in those 4 games to me. And
so you're thinking 3-5 at that point, or 3-6 at that point?
That's kind of what I'd be looking at, yes. And, as much as I believe this team is improving and I'm seeing this team improve week to week, I don't know if they're good enough to beat the Chiefs yet, especially on a short week. Now they are at home. That's going to help them quite a bit because even, if as tired as Broncos country has been of watching losing for the last couple of years, they are absolutely going to show up for that game and every home game without a question. The Colts in Indianapolis, with Jake Brisket over there at quarterback, it's not definitely a gimme for the Colts. We're going to play them tough. We're going to play the Chiefs tough. I don't think either of those are going to be blowout games no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw for the Broncos. Neither of those are going to be games where we're blown out or do the blowing out. The Browns, it depends on which Browns team shows up. Some weeks they look like the team that went into Baltimore last week and gritted out a really, really tough win against a hard team in a very hard place to play. And then they went out this last week on Monday night and looked like total fools against the 49ers. So I don't know. It's the kind of thing where, like I said, it really depends on which Browns team shows up. That could be a very, very tough out for us, or it could be a game that we grind out a very tough win. It's, we're just going to have to see there. That's why I kind of only see two wins really in these next 4 games. I think the Titans is our best chance, like you said, but it's going to be between the Browns and Colts for me to find another win in between those 2 games. I think we can, but we've got to keep showing the improvement that we showed in the last few weeks if we want to come out with a few W's before we go into the bye.
Okay, Joey says the 2 games in the next 10 days are going to be rough, especially with playing the Chiefs on that Thursday night. Thank God we play them in Denver. That's probably our one shining hope right there, is we're playing them in Denver. But David, I know you just said probably 3 and 6. Well, let me ask you this, looking at the rest of the schedule here. If we somehow find a way to go 4 and 5, what do you think the odds are? Or how comfortable would you be saying that we could even end 8 and 8 at the end of the season?
Well, now let's say we do go in.
Let's say we do.
Our bye week. The games coming out of the bye week are as follows:
Vikings on the road, Bills on the road, Chargers at home.
Yep. Then Chargers at home, on the road against the Texans, on the road against the Chiefs, Lions at home against the against the Raiders to finish out the season. I think we win that Raiders game. I think outside of that, we can beat the Chargers. We've already shown that, but it would be just like us to go into their place and beat them.
Well, yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
We're not going to start the game with an onside kick. Okay?
No,
you're
right.
That right there, I tell you, I was in the stadium for that last game of the season last year against the Chargers. And I'll tell you what, when we started the game with that onside kick, nobody was pissed off around me. Everyone was just laughing because it's the type of absurdity we expected. So yes, you're right. Over the last couple years, we've had that problem where we can play well on the road, but not playing very well at home. But we're not going to start the game with an onside kick.
No.
So,
but
maybe a little different.
It would be a very Broncos thing to do, even if we, obviously we're not going to start with an onside kick. But to go in and beat them there and then to allow them to come in and beat us here, it just seems, I'm not predicting it, but I'm not saying that's going to be a game we should automatically put in the win column. And there's really no more of those for the rest of the season, as far as I can see after the bye week. There's really none of those games that make me think we have a really good chance to beat that team. Our pass rush against the Texans offensive line, that could be a good matchup for us, but there's a lot of factors in that game. The Lions, for as much of a pushover as they looked like to begin this season, are kind of the real deal. At this point, they've shown the league that they're here at least to not mess around and to play big boy football. So that's definitely not a walkover. There's none of the rest of these games that I can say, pencil in a win there. It's a bunch of tough games that will probably gut 1 or 2 out. But that's why I kind of see us sitting at 6 and 10 at the end of the season. I just, at 4 and 5 at the bye, there's just not a lot of clear games to me at the end that scream that's a win.
Do you think momentum would have a big part in that, though?
It depends. I mean, it's tough.
I'm not disagreeing with you. There's none of these games except for maybe the Raiders where it's like, yes, we can win this game. Right. But in my opinion, there's a lot to be said about momentum and confidence. Dude, especially, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, if we somehow somehow find a win to beat the Chiefs, that's a huge, huge, huge if. But if we're somehow able to do that, I think that confidence and momentum will help us overcome some of the tougher teams we play after that.
I'll tell you, if we beat the Titans and the Chiefs in 10 days, all bets are off.
Okay?
Okay? Everything I've said about 6-10 at that point is off the table. Forget I ever said it.
Okay?
Like I said, like you said, I don't think that's going to happen either.
I don't.
But,
I don't.
like, anything could happen if you beat the Titans and the Chiefs in that 10-day span. Anything is possible for the rest of the season.
Let's see. Jeremy says, isn't that game against the Chiefs in Denver? Yes, the Thursday night one is in Denver. Red Cloud says, if we beat Tennessee, I see momentum and confidence. Tough games, but I see us at 4 wins before the bye. Joey says, coming off a bye versus Cousins, we could win that. We got Roger over here that says, winning is contagious. We will beat the Chiefs. I would get on it, go Broncos, and he thinks 10-6 at the end of the season. So I want everyone who's watching right now, all 33, 35 of you guys, first off, you're fantastic. We love you guys watching our show. It's awesome that we have this kind of following now. Keep your feet on the ground. All those Elway haters, all those Vic Fangio haters, all those Joe Flacco haters have shut up. Okay? Guarantee you when we lose another game, because we're not going to go undefeated, they're going to come back out in full force. Please just keep your feet on the ground. Don't freak out. If we win a game, let's say we do somehow, somebody knock on wood, find a way to beat the Chiefs, don't freak out the opposite direction. We've got to keep this 1 week at a time, focused on one game at a time. There are some wins. Even if we lose the Chiefs, there might be some way for us to still work back. But David, you're right. There are a lot of questions. And if we can't beat the Chiefs at home, that raises a whole lot more of a, I don't know about this kind of feeling than a, we got this. Okay, so that's my little,
That's your take.
That's my take. That's my no BS take is if we win, fantastic. We want wins. We're dying for more wins, but we have to just 1 week at a time. The end of the season record is not finalized until the end of the season. But even then, guys, remember, we also need a lot of help from other teams. So we could finish 9-7. That does not mean we're going to be in the hunt for a wild card spot. So focus on the Broncos. We're going to do what we can. Here at Orange Weekly, we're going to present out as much positive vibes as possible, but we're not going to bullshit you. That's what the show's all about. So,
nope, that's it. That's why, I say 6-10, not with love, but because I'm not here to bullshit you guys.
That's fine.
You know what? If I believed that they were going to be 9-7 at the end of the season, like Kev does, I would say it.
I think it only based off of the ifs, and maybe that's not the scientific method or what engineers go through, but there's ifs that could very well go in our favor. They're not just kind of far out there, like saying we're going to go undefeated. That's a far out there if that is not going to happen. But if a couple of these little things go in our favor over the next 2 or 3 weeks, now we have something to talk about. But those ifs could very easily go against us, and now we have something else to talk about.
Regardless, your larger point is that we're not here to BS you.
Right.
You were absolutely right about that. So guys, like Kevin's been saying all day, hit up our Patreon, hit like, hit share, hit retweet, hit all of the buttons for us, guys, because we are here to push all of your football buttons, and we're going to be back doing it every single week, win, lose, or draw, because we're nuts and we have nothing better to do, and we love you guys and we love Bronco football.
Hey, David, do you have another 10 minutes in you?
Boy, Kev, I got all night for Broncos country.
Because we still have like 35 to 40 viewers.
Yeah, well, what do they want to tell? What do they want to ask us?
Okay, guys, ask some questions. We're going to be here for at least, let's call another 10, 15 minutes tops. But you guys are in here this late at night. We got 35 to 40 viewers. I don't want to stop this momentum. David, if you have to take off, that's perfectly fine. But guys, post some just what questions do you have that you want to get our take on? But David, let's start with this, kind of a more lighter and fluffier question. Over the last, what are some memorable moments over the last 3 or 4 years that just, when you think about, just make you smile? Anything that, any kind of positives at all?
Boy, Now,
Players, even just
absolutely-
players. Something you're
Right.
like, man, I just loved how that player was that year.
I'm absolutely on the spot here, but there's two games that really come into my memory from the last couple of years, which were dark, dark years.
They were.
But the Steelers game last year, when we were, we were in the tank, and the Steelers are coming to town. They got Antonio Brown, blah, and Ben Roethlisberger, blah 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 blah, defense, blah, and then we go out there and we win it on a last. Oh my gosh, that last second interception, Shelby Harris tipping that ball up there. I lost it, man. That was a fun game. The other one that really springs to mind is when we put an absolute job on the Cowboys a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It was, Trevor Siemian, touchdown Trevor Siemian slinging dimes out there. Aqib Talib in one of his last games as a Bronco, taking a pick six all the way back to the house from Dak Prescott. Just some really good vintage Broncos stuff there. Not a great season that came out of, but man, that's a memorable win for me.
Darasay.
Yep.
Late joining, but do you think we can beat the Chiefs? If I'm saying your name wrong, I very much apologize, Darisi. We will, I promise you, talk about that next Tuesday. I don't want to focus purely on the Chiefs right now. If you guys have some big term questions or some of your favorite moments from the last couple of years, please share that with us. Let's just kind of go into a fun, kind of relaxed mode right now, if you will. A nice touchy-feely one. Yeah, that sounded bad. Jeremy says, the game against the Saints blocked field goal. Holy crap, who can forget that? Yeah. I mean, I still don't know if he was out of bounds or not. I don't remember who did that, but I think he was in. I think he was in, but...
Officially, he was in.
Officially, he was in.
I don't know. If I had been referee, I don't know what I would have called there. I'll tell you, and let's see, Red Cloud says he was at the Patriots game during our Super Bowl run. I also was lucky enough to go to a game that season when we put a hurting on the Packers. That was beautiful. I was sitting, I remember the play where DeMarcus Ware sacked Aaron Rodgers right up against their own 10-yard line, and I knew, man, this game is going to be a rough slog for the Packers. It was like the first quarter. It would happen right in front of me. That was the edge of the stadium that I was sitting on, and man, the energy in that place, it was electric. I'll never forget that game as long as I live.
Dylan, I see your comment. I know you asked it earlier. I apologize for asking. Let me share my little thing really fast, and we'll get to it. I apologize that we missed it earlier. I was there for the Week 16 game against the Bengals in Denver, that 2015-2016 season where we won the Super Bowl. We got tickets earlier that year, and we were hoping that, okay, Peyton Manning should be healthy by then because we wanted to see Peyton Manning play, and he was still injured, unfortunately. Yeah. But that was the game Brock Osweiler, that went back and forth. First half was atrocious, and I made a new best friend sitting next to me. Maybe he's watching the show, I don't know. But we were both really down. It was super cold out there. I think it was Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, and we were just not looking good. We came out, and that I think it was the blocked field goal that the Bengals would have won the game with in overtime was right there in front of me. So I saw all that happen, and again, same thing. I was like, this team, we got this, right? But those were just some fantastic memories. Yeah. But I do want to get to Dylan's comments because I know he forgot. Probably the last one we'll do for tonight. Dylan says, I was at the Cowboys game 2 years ago, and first and only Broncos game, went with 2 Cowboys fans, drove 12 hours from Iowa, listened to them talk shit the whole way, and then it was a nice quiet ride back. Those are the kind of experiences we just love, right?
Yeah. He also says, what's up with McManus missing kicks? It's weird with Brandon McManus. I don't know what his streak between 0 and 50-yard field goals is.
It's really good. It's like 100% between 0 and 50. Past 50 is very iffy.
Yeah, very, very iffy. And we saw that kind of rear its head again this game. He was money from inside that 50-yard range. Outside of it, he's got the leg strength, but he just can't quite sneak it through those uprights. Hopefully we can just keep him out of those field goals that long this season, and that's my best solution for that, to be honest with you.
Knowing that, look, we were up at the time. I think it was like 17-7 maybe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate Scangarillo and company calling an aggressive offense and saying going for it. At that point, that late in the game, it was what? Early fourth quarter? I would have been okay with just punting it. Yep. Okay? Because then they got the ball at the 40-yard line, essentially. 40, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So I really do love the go get 'em, the aggressiveness, but at that time I did not agree with it. So because we've seen how iffy he is
within quote unquote field goal range, you may be better off punting it and trusting your
in
defense.
Denver, sure.
Yeah,
sea level, no.
Right.
So David, I appreciate you jumping on for an extra 10 minutes or so. We still got 30 people in here. What are some of your closing thoughts, buddy?
Man, it's nice to get a win. And
so nice.
I'll tell you that. Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful to be able to come back and talk to an enthusiastic Broncos crowd. And I think they know that even if we're going to lose a few more games and we end up winning this season, but it feels different. It feels like there's, improvement happening every week. It feels like the guys that you've been expecting to get better can start to get better. And it's because of this coaching staff. And it's something that I really want to build on. So keep building on it. That's all I want to see. Come back against Tennessee, shut down the run again, show me fewer turnovers, play the game for 4 quarters, and let's see where we can go from there after that if we get those things.
Ryder says, who else besides Chris Harris Jr. is going to show up? Any surprising players? I don't think anyone that didn't surprise us last week. And Romolo asked, do you think Denver could make a run at the playoffs? We did cover that a little bit ago. Long answer short from me, a very strong maybe. David says no. I say maybe, but there are a lot of things that have to go our way. Red Cloud does say beer Broncos and no BS tailgate, Orange Weekly tailgate. You know what? I am moving home soon, David. Maybe next year we try to set some of those up, man. What do you think?
Live broadcast. We don't have to go to the game to tailgate. We can just broadcast.
Well, we've been talking about that. If we can find a bar where we can set up in like once or twice a month and call the games live, we could be doing that. But we could maybe work in 1 or 2 tailgates a year.
Yep.
So Orange Weekly is going to grow.
Yeah, we're going to get that talked about because that's, tailgating, basically doing what I'm doing now, except outside at the game. Where's the downside?
I know, right? So guys, stay with that. We're definitely going to be back next year. And with me being back in Colorado at that point, which by the way, if you notice my wall is like naked right now, it's because I'm moving, not because I'm disowning the Broncos. So next year, there's going to be some interesting things that David and I and some other people locally there might be able to get some live stuff going. You guys can come join us. With me, guys, once again, please check out our other shows. Please listen to the post-game podcast. Don't forget about the pre-game podcast. The Sunday morning stuff between the show, Ragers, for the betting lines of the day, the halftime hash, all that stuff we bring to you guys because we love you all and you're fantastic. This game, there's some things we have to clean up and improve on, but this is a winnable game. And if we can get 2 in a row, that's really going to change how we talk about and approach next week's show and next week's game. So with that being said, David, once again, thank you for joining me as usual. You are fantastic. Everyone else, once again, you're fantastic. I'm just going to leave it with very strong. I'm going to go ahead. I know I'm going to steal it from Jason. He's going to be mad at me. I'm just going to give you a mile high salute because Broncos country is fantastic, man.
Amen. Big mile high salute to you guys tonight. You showed out, you showed up, you kept us here late, and I haven't regretted a single moment of it. It's been beautiful to be here with you guys, answering your comments and questions. Keep it up every week, guys, because win, lose, or draw, we're going to be here, and we hope you are too.
Roger, you have a good night. And dude, David, we still have like 30, 35 people in here. This is fantastic.
Bless you guys.
Oh man. Okay, I will see you Sunday morning, guys, at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for the Sunday morning Broncos brunch show. And otherwise, send us some messages if you have some questions. We can answer those individually. But otherwise, have a good rest of your night. Enjoy the win.
Podcast this week. Me and Matt are going to hit that up. And Ragers.
Ragers.
Guys, come on. There's not a stinker among them. They're all good. There's content for days.
For days, man. For days. Okay, you guys enjoy the rest of the show. We're going to end it with a message from Shelby Harris himself. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Enjoy the win. We'll catch you all later.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Exactly.
Hey guys, Shelby from the Denver Broncos. Just want to give a huge shout out to the podcast Orange Weekly. They do great work and have great content regarding the Broncos. Also, huge shout out to all the Denver Broncos fans out there. You guys have really just made my time in Denver amazing. And also, even when we were losing last year, you guys came out every game. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you.